His feet are light and nimble. He never sleeps. He says that he will never die. He dances in light and in shadow, and he is a great favorite. He never sleeps, the judge. He is dancing, dancing. He says that he will never die. Hello and welcome to Liam's Lyceum. I'm your host, Liam, aka Hempire, and today I'll be doing a spoiler-free review of Cormac McCarthy's Blood, Meridian. Blood Meridian is a 1985 novel by Cormac McCarthy. It's also supposedly called The Evening Redness in the West. I'm not sure if it's ever been published like that, or it's just something that McCarthy tacked on. Probably should have looked that up. But anyways, I had heard it was the best by McCarthy, so I decided to give it a read. It's my first book by him. Probably not my last, but to preface it, I wasn't completely impressed or drawn in. It is written in an odd format as far as punctuation and the style flow. It works well, I think, though. And there are many potent images, but at times it's kind of dry, like a classical epic. Many things are strung together. Sure, it's symbolic and about mankind's penchant for violence, but it's also repetitive and lacks character development, and a novel of this length should have some. It's very mechanical with evocative images, and it does some good showing rather than telling in cases, though I feel like if this was written by someone else, maybe like Ray Bradbury, it would have been like 2 pages rather than a whole novel. There are 3 epigrams. There are also, the chapters have titles that describe the events of the chapter in an old-fashioned manner. You could just describe it as well. It quickly goes over the coming of age of the main character, the kid who is from Tennessee. He spends some time in Louisiana and Texas. Most of the story involves the Gallatin gang, famous for scalping Native Americans. The protagonist gets no proper name, he's just called the Kid. The judge is memorable and a good villain. I really actually like the judge. Not sure I cared for most of the rest of the novel. It just seems like he really wanted to set the Western straight and deconstruct it. I'm not a big Western guy to begin with. For example, I found Shane cheesy, for example. I said for example twice there, sorry. This is similarly cheesy, but for the opposite reasons. It's a Western or anti-Western or epic historical or horror, really. The West is not a nice place here. It's lawless and blood-filled and racist rather than heroic and adventure-filled. It's de-romanticized to the extreme as there is no good here or even really no morality. It's rather a story full of amoral people. Having lived in the deserts of the Southwest, some familiar landscapes are present for me, and Spanish showing up with, Mexicans and Native Americans. That's all familiar stuff to me, as, again, like I said, I live in the Southwest, and there's plenty of all that. I think the shock value is partially what the novel is known for. The lack of quotation marks, I guess, makes it a novelty, and capitalization makes it seem old-fashioned. I guess what some people call an epic. Beyond that, it's edgy. It doesn't really read archaically, more like it's from the 80s, and McCarthy has some gimmicky point to make. There are Gnostic elements that are rather above my head, so maybe if someone explained that to me, then I could appreciate the novel more. But one thing, the first thing I always want from a novel, and I love literary novels, if you pay attention to my channel, you'll know that, but I also love entertainment, okay? And if a novel is not entertaining me, or any story is not entertaining me, then it is failing, essentially, in its purpose. I can be entertained by very mundane and dry things, right? I read Black Rain by Masuji Yabuse recently. It's insanely mundane, insanely dry, but very entertaining. And so while I'd say the judge is great, I do think it should be shorter. And while it has some novel aspects, I don't know if that makes it good. It at least doesn't make it super enjoyable, at least for me. So anyways, let me know what your thoughts are. Liam from Liam's Lyceum. I'll catch you next time.